Final Cut Pro 12 is here. And along with all of the Apple Creator Studio content, exclusive things, we also have a ton of new features that is for my one-time purchase buyers out there. Now, I will be using the Apple Creator Studio version of Final Cut Pro today, but I will only be showing off the one-time purchased available features inside of Final Cut Pro because I'm just doing a free trial so I can do a review of it, but I am someone who has bought the one-time purchase of Final Cut Pro and plans on sticking with that one-time purchase. And also, just to get out of the way, Final Cut Pro will still be receiving updates, and you're going to get all of the new 12.0 features in the one-time paid version, and the only difference is that there are some new premium titles, transitions, and generators. I do have to say I won't call them premium. In fact, they're very simple. But personally, as someone who has Apple Motion and uses it to make my own, it doesn't really entice me, but that's for a whole nother video about Apple Creator Studio. So let's just jump in with all of the new features. Pro 12 consists of 3 major new features, technically 2, but technically 3 major new features that at first I wasn't too enticed by. Like, they were like, oh, that's cool, but they are actually insane. And these features will definitely make the workflows of editors, including me, faster. And the first new feature is transcript search. Basically, Final Cut Pro will analyze media you put in it and generate a transcript, meaning you can search for certain parts of the clip. You can do related to or includes. This is great for podcasting, or if you have a long footage of A-roll and you just want to do some clipping. Now, as far as how Final Cut Pro looks with version 12, well, it looks almost 100% the same. There are only a few visual changes, and it's mostly when you haven't created a new project. There is finally a new project button in the corner. That was one of the biggest things when I first got it. I couldn't figure out how to make a new project. Anyway, beyond that, there's little boxes down in the timeline talking about drag media here, and it'll have like a little purple outline, and then there'll be like a little purple import layer, and once you import stuff, it all goes back to normal. It's very minimal, but I do like the new things, but again, ultra minimal, which is a good thing because I really do love the Final Cut Pro layout. So, alright, so let's open Final Cut Pro and test out this new transcript search. So right here, I have the latest episode of me and my friend's podcast, and I want to make a clip of it, and the part I want to clip is talking about Elon Musk's stopping production of certain car models. So using the new transcript search, as you can see, we will do is related to, because I don't know exactly how I said it. Now, first of all, we have to make sure it's analyzed. It should automatically do it, but if it doesn't, all you have to do is right click and go down to analyze and fix, and then we can check off and on visual search or transcribe the captions. I'm just going to do transcribes the captions, and now it is going to use the models to do it. So it is going to do it very fast. I mean, considering that that is literally almost an hour long, it is doing it very fast. Now, I do believe this is only available on your Apple Intelligence Max, sadly, but it uses that neural, and so sadly it has to be that way. Although once it very quickly does that, it will only take a few seconds for it to index it, and then we can start using the feature. Alright, so now that is done, I'm just going to make sure, okay, related to, and now I'm just going to type this in. Alright, and now that I've done that, it is pulled up all the clips that it thinks is related to. So I am going to be able to just listen to this, getting that, and then he's now also stopping production. Up and right there, there we go.
He's not.
Alright, so now I'm just going to take this little snippet and trim it accordingly.
What's your opinion on this?
Okay.
So I am going to go through here and find the part 2.
I'm sorry, what?
And here we go. Here's the part 2. We will have to trim it a little bit. Alright, and now we have these 2 little snippets extracted. I'm just going to throw in a little blur transition and also a nice lower third title talking about how this is the bite-sized brief clips here. So we'll go the bite-sized brief clips. And then we will select a nice preset and maybe change the color of that shadow to a nice green that kind of fits the branding and shrink it. And then last but not least, let's just add a little type-on animation, and we have a nice little clipped version of this part from our hour-long podcast done in under 5 minutes using transcript search. So overall, this feature will be legendary as it will help so many content creators get their work done quicker and more efficient and put out more high quality content. And the second new feature, again related to searching, is visual search. Just like transcript search, Final Cut Pro will analyze the media you put in it and just see what's in it. So let's say I have a video of a cookie along with a bunch of other videos. Well, I can search cookie and it will find either sections of media that have it or that video that was just of that cookie for me. Alright, so I'm going to be making a montage and I want to only do clips that have a computer in it for now, and this does kind of intersect with the next feature since I am doing a montage, but using the visual search, I can search for objects just by natural language. So I'm going to do, let's even try MacBook. I don't know if it will do that. And wow, as you can see, there it is. That's my MacBook. This is also my MacBook with my mic, and there we go. So search up my MacBook and you can see even right here, I mean, it's not necessarily my MacBook, but even right here you can see my MacBook was there in the corner. So honestly, I am kind of blown away by how good this feature is. I was shocked when I first used it because I did not expect it to do well, but I mean, this thing does well. So I think I'm going to start out with this clip, and I kind of want it to be like this. So I'll go in and I'll kind of just do kind of like a rough cut. I won't do like the biggest cut, but you know, let's put that there, and then, oh yes, here we go. Let's do it like that. Let's do an in, and then we'll put that here. Maybe reverse this clip so that way it will kind of go in like that. I don't know. I may arrange these differently. Let's actually maybe do something kind of like this. And you know, maybe we'll throw in some music. We'll do that, and I technically am not allowed to show you this because this is the next feature, but let's just go ahead and enable beat detection for that. Alright, and then I'm just going to arrange some of this. And we'll turn on snapping so we can snap this. And let's just remove this chunk here. And I actually want it to shift right at this big note. Let's do a title to make it official. Let's call it montage. I'm not even sure if I spelled that right. This in the classic BitQuest font, and let's just do a nice typing on, and let's animate that out with this beat right here. Alright, and without further ado, here is the montage made using the next feature we'll talk about, but mainly visual search. Last but not least, this is probably my favorite, even though I wouldn't say it's as useful as the other one. That is beat detection. Using some technology from Logic Pro, Final Cut Pro will analyze the beats and melodies of your song and will have a beat grid. Basically, this is the best thing for montages because it allows you to trim and sync your clips with the beat of the music so it's professional and everything is in tune. Alright, and time for my favorite feature, beat detection. So I have this song right here along with a ton of other videos, and that's because I want to do a studio tour montage. So kind of like a mini studio tour but a montage. I picked out this song. Now the thing is that it's a good song, but there might be some parts I want to trim out, and I want to sing it to the beat. Now the thing is that it's kind of hard to do that, but using beat detection, we'll be able to cut out sections and make them match perfectly, and make the montage set to the beat. So to get started, we are just going to go to the little magic wand and click enable beat detection, and I had already analyzed it, so the first time it will analyze it. Here we have the beat grid. So basically, all your footage will snap here. There are different types of grids and different types of logos. These brighter green lines indicate a special shift in the song, so either going to a chorus or a different section. If we zoom in any more, these solid green lines are the actual beat, like the actual beat, and these are just like the sub beats, so as you can see there. So all these allow you to do is mix this up. So let's say I want to start out with this section. I can cut it like that, but I want it to actually go right here. So I'll do that. I can cut that, and so let me cut in both places, and let's see what this sounds like. And as you can see, it fits. I mean, it's a bit jagged, but it fits so much better. Let's go here, and then let's actually expand this out. Let's actually shift it to right here. And now we've basically remixed this whole entire song. So it starts with like a zoom pan out of this, so I did a speed ramp, and as you can see, let's cut it on this solid beat right here, and let's just apply some image stabilization. I forgot to turn stabilization on. So I'm now going to go find the other section. So I'm now just going to start rearranging all my clips. And again, we'll do a speed ramp so that way it will fit better in with the beat. We'll do 4x speed ramp. And then we'll cut it on that beat right there. And then we'll go in, slap it here, and let's also mute these real quick. And again, speed ramp at 4x. Alright, and there's more of a beat change right here, so I am going to have this one be slightly longer, but then again, let's also enable stabilization. So far, as you're seeing, it's flowing much better because it's on the beat, and I may even make some changes to the song. Like, we're actually going off this modified song that we just did. So overall, this is like next level, and I mean, I guess it doesn't necessarily save time, but it helps you be more accurate. Alright, so now I want to transition to my desk, so I'm going to put this in here. I am using some of the same footage we did before. Sorry, I didn't mean to do that. So I'm going to drag this in here, and I'm going to temporarily turn off snapping so I can, there we go. Alright, turn that back on so it'll snap to the, and we're going to be using speed ramping for basically this whole thing, and we'll have another trim right there, and then we'll trim this so now it's on the microphone, enable snapping in, and then we'll cut on this major beat right here to something about right there, and then let's drag that into place. So I hope y'all are getting the idea of how powerful this is using this bead grit. So basically, you can remix, cut out parts of the music, and sync everything to it. So I'm not going to show you the rest of the progress, but I will show you a time lapse of me completing this, and then we'll look over the final results. project is done, and without further ado, this is what it looks like. And keep in mind, this was all done using Final Cut Pro 12, using beat detection. I added some titles and some cool things at the end, and yeah. So that's Final Cut Pro 12. Is it worth going all the way from 11 to 12? I don't really think so, but I think Apple is transitioning to a new version every year. Overall, it's an amazing upgrade, and this is actually giving me hope for Final Cut Pro, especially that they're not gatekeeping these new features behind the Apple Creator Studio version. Speaking of which, I have been using Apple Creator Studio. I have a 3-month free trial, and probably next month I will be doing my review of it, so stay tuned for that. Anyways, y'all, thanks for watching. If you like Apple content and Nintendo content, please make sure to subscribe, and we also just hit 50 subscribers, so thank y'all so much for that, and I will see y'all in the next one.